I'm here today because I believe Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy. The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't make the necessary changes because they have put their astronomical profits before people. Congressional action is needed. They won't solve this crisis without your help. Yesterday, we saw Facebook get taken off the internet. I don't know why it went down, but I know that for more than 5 hours, Facebook wasn't used to deepen divides, destabilize democracies, and make young girls and women feel bad about their bodies.
Let's speak to Ariel Cohen, who's a political analyst and writer. Ariel, what do you make of what Frances Haugen's been saying?
Well, in a lot of ways, nothing she's saying is terribly surprising. It's what most observers have said about Facebook for some years now. I think what makes it interesting is that it's clear that Facebook itself knows this too. What she's done is that she's really brought the goods that Facebook is deeply aware of exactly what its product is doing. And when in the past, very senior Facebook executives have testified before that same Congress or in other places, they're not seeing these things, or that they don't know about them, or that there's more research to be done. She's proved that that's not true. Facebook knows exactly what it's doing.
I mean, in defense of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg has been saying that it's trying hard to combat misinformation on its site. It's making it difficult for people to post false news. It's improving detection of fake accounts, and it's applying machine learning to detect fraud. Is it doing enough?
I don't think it's doing enough. I think it's clear that Facebook in the last 6 to 9 months has made a lot of strides over the course of the coronavirus pandemic, and then in the immediate aftermath of the US election, and then the storming of the Capitol, to take specific actions for an issue once it becomes a big deal. So, we saw labels posted on anti-vax content and things promoting lies about the coronavirus. But, other health things or more general anti-vax content was only banned in Facebook, I think really only a few weeks ago. So Facebook really seems to wait until the controversy blows up around a particular issue before it takes action. And while, maybe Western countries, their issues are being catered for, there are all sorts of places in the world where Facebook is being used to stoke ethnic tensions and divisions that can even lead to direct violence, where we aren't seeing this kind of action because there hasn't been the same level of media attention.
So if the social media companies can't regulate themselves, should governments step in? I mean, it's something governments the world over have been grappling with. Do you think that's coming?
I think it is coming, and I think it's extremely complicated because dividing the line between a government regulating social media to prevent harms and maybe a more authoritarian government regulating social media to prevent criticism of the government or some other policy, it's a very difficult line. Social media companies already operate in an environment with hundreds of different sets of laws. Content that may be legal in one place is illegal in another. The same time in the US, as this debate is happening, there are also Republicans who are trying to make it harder for Facebook to regulate content, trying to make it illegal for them to regulate content, like laws passed in Texas and Florida. So I understand the social media companies are a bit stuck here when it comes to the direct moderation, but they have things they can do around algorithms in particular. They can make their algorithms less addictive, while at the moment they're trying to make them more addictive.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing that kept coming up in Frances Haugen's testimony, was the algorithms and how it's, it's generating the misinformation, it's targeting the most vulnerable. How damaging do you think this is for Facebook?
Well, Facebook's stock price has declined quite dramatically in the last couple of weeks. There was a big drop yesterday, of course, with the global outage of the Facebook properties. But this seems to have started in the last few weeks as these documents have begun to leak. I don't know how damaging it is in the long term. People are still going to be flocking to Facebook, to Instagram, to WhatsApp, which is maybe in a slightly different category. Facebook faces longer-term challenges, most particularly that it seems like younger people are less interested particularly in Facebook itself, and maybe even somewhat in Instagram. It's being challenged by upstarts like TikTok. and trying to find its new place in this kind of social media world, trying to always find or buy the next hot thing. I'm not sure how much this new controversy will damage Facebook, because again, it doesn't really tell governments anything they didn't know. All it proves is that Facebook knew all along.
OK, Ariel Cohen, they're a political analyst and writer. Thanks so much for talking to us this evening.